am, well, I don't have a name. I was born in a cage in a laboratory with my 8 siblings and my mother. Mommy told me that I was born to help humans who had diseases and who are in need of vaccines and antibiotics. This made me really happy. Perhaps one day I would be the key to cure sick people in need of help. I was also happy when Mom explained to us that bunnies are some of the few animals used to test products made to make humans look more beautiful. Kind of like mascara. I myself lived in a cage with my whole family of bunnies. But there were also amphibians, fish, insects, birds, cats, dogs, guinea pigs, hamsters, monkeys, and lots of rats in the laboratory. In fact, 85% of the animals there were rats. The humans used us to teach others about anatomy, surgery, and other fields of medicine. Life there was scary. Much of the time, I could hear animals sitting in their cages, shaking, meowing, crying, barking and whimpering, but I couldn't imagine why. I was almost never used or even touched. The humans fed me a simple but a balanced diet, and even some treats here and there. We were told that the humans wanted to use us in a respectful manner. They told me a thing called the 3 R's. The 3 R's are reduction, refinement, and replacement. Reduction refers to the use of as few animals as possible. Refinement refers to efforts to minimize the pain and the distress of animals. Replacement refers to the use of alternatives. The laws and regulations of many countries incorporate the 3 R's. One day, I remember talking to the rats sitting in the cage next to ours. I had made close friends with one particular fellow for a few days until one morning. A human with rubber gloves and a mask over his mouth picked up the rat and took it away. His mother screamed and his siblings cried, and the other rats all screamed in horror. Vivisection! Vivisection? What does that mean? I asked my mom with tears in my eyes. My mom told me tearfully that vivisection was when the humans operated surgery on the animal to study it. She told me most animals being tested on rarely came back. The days passed, and the thought of that poor rat kept me up night and day, and the sounds of the crying animals did not help much at all. One day, a human took my youngest brother and injected a long, sharp thing in his head. He shrieked as loud as we could, and fear filled my family's thoughts. Family was all we had. We couldn't lose that. After the needle, they put my brother in a separate cage nearby. He looked fine for a few days, but as the weeks went on, his health declined. The humans took my brother away, and we never saw him again. We later heard that the shot was a virus causing my brother to get sick. "Why would they do that?" my sister yelled. My mother had explained that animals with diseases can help humans cure those diseases. It's not fair. Why can't they use other things? Other methods include test tube experiments on bacteria, on bits of animal or human tissue, and other alternatives also include the use of computer models on living systems. But before I was able to speak, a faint ringing, almost like a bell, was heard. "What's that, Mommy?" "None of our concern. The humans are running tests on other animals," Mom said. "What kind of experiments?" I said, grabbing my mother tight, hoping no more animal lives would be lost. My mother calmly explained that they also run psychological experiments, and not all experiments were about the body. I fell asleep for the first time, fearing what the next day would bring, and tried to stay positive. The next day I woke up and realized my mother had been taken. I lost hope, thinking this was the last time I would ever see her again. I cried and I squealed, but the humans took her through that door, the same door they took my poor brother and that poor little rat. I woke up a few weeks later to a huge surprise. It felt as though a dream had come true. Standing there beside me was my mother. She sat there smiling down at me and told me and my siblings all about what had happened to her. She was strapped down and not able to move. She was with a bunch of other bunnies when the humans leaned in and dropped a mysterious substance in her eye. It was painful, she claimed, but she considered herself lucky because some bunnies were not as fortunate to survive. She told us she was testing products for the benefits of humans. I found it pointless that my mother had suffered and other bunnies had died just for that new eyeliner or mascara. Now, my mother said, trying to calm me down, "It's not pointless. Animal testing saved humans and other animals from many diseases like anthrax and taught humans about open heart surgery. We can teach humans about groundbreaking discoveries that can cause extraordinary breakthroughs. Try to have a positive outlook. Do it for me," she said. "Okay, Mother." I was just happy that she was alive. About a year later, me and my entire litter was brought into a dark and scary room. I was shaking, clutching onto my mother and siblings. I thought this would be the end. But we were put in a van and taken far away from that lab. We were sent to live in a beautiful farm with green grass and sunshine, and my family got to live to a healthy and old age. My story had a happy ending, but most of the time this is not the case. In the United States, there are 18 to 20 million animal test subjects, and studies show that only 3% of them actually survive. In conclusion, yes, there are definitely pros to the subject, all of which somehow are for the benefit of humans, but there are also a lot of suffering and animal lives lost in the process of testing, and animals deserve a life just as much as humans do.